Okay, I think we're going. Alright, so today we are doing a mock draft. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 rounds, so we're just going to jump right into it, and I'm going to try and explain a little bit behind what I'm thinking, but this is just going to be, I'm testing it out, and to be honest, I don't even know if the recording is going to turn out or whatnot, so we're going to just jump right into it. Okay, so with the first pick, the Jags, they just got Urban Meyer as their new coach. And Urban, obviously, he was from Ohio State and Florida, but he's not going to be interested in any of those guys. And it's honestly a pretty self-explanatory pick here because they're going to go Trevor Lawrence. He's a good generational quarterback. And I think Urban Meyer is going to build around him for sure. There's nothing really to that. It's predicted that's what's going to happen. There's not going to be any trades. I think maybe the Jaguars will field trade calls if, they're just going to see what people are offering, and they're not going to take any unless it's like really, really, really high. And I mean, we saw what Matt Stafford went for 2 first rounds. So I think this first round pick would have to go for at least like 5 or 6 first rounds and a couple players. But number 2, we've got the Jets here. Robert Saleh, this is his team now. They've got Sam Darnold, but I don't think Sam Darnold is the answer for the future. So I see them going quarterback here. I don't think they're going to trade this pick away. I think Robert Saleh is in a rebuild stage, obviously, and so he wants to get his quarterback because that is the position that you need to be solid when you're building a team. So I think the Jets are going to go Zach Wilson here. I've seen Justin Fields go before, but I think Justin Fields is falling on people's boards, and I think he'll fall to a couple later picks. Okay, the Dolphins. This pick is, I believe, from Houston. It says it was traded, so I think this is the Houston pick. And obviously they got Tua. They don't really need another quarterback. I think they'll stick with Tua this year. And their O-line is, for the most part, pretty solid. I don't think they'll go O-line here. There's a possibility that they go O-line, but I don't think they do. So I think they need another wide receiver because they have Devontae Parker, and honestly, that's really about their best receiver. And I mean, they have Mike Gesicki, and other than that, I mean, Tua doesn't really have anyone to throw to. So Dolphins are gonna pick up who they wanted to begin with, Jamar Chase here, because he provides some really great athleticism. He sat out this past year. He decided to opt out for COVID reasons, but he had a really productive year last year, and I think the Dolphins would be crazy to pass him up at number 3. Okay, Atlanta. This one is I could see this one going a few different ways. I actually am going to I see Atlanta trading out of this pick. So can we not trade? Hang on. What does this do? Okay, I guess we cannot do that. Alright. Oh boy, what did I do? Alright. There we go. Okay, so actually I tried to trade, but as you can see here, it's only exclusive for premium, and I do not have that. So I'm just going to, we're just going to roll with it. Okay, so take note of this. I have, in real life, this is what I'm going to think is happening. I just can't actually show it to you guys on screen because I don't have premium. But we've got the Lions here at number 7. They really need a receiver. They just got Jared Goff and Devonta Smith is still sitting on the board. And Philly is really wanting another receiver. So I actually see the Lions are going to jump Pittsburgh, or excuse me, not Pittsburgh. They're going to jump Philly, and instead of the Falcons picking at 4, I think the Lions are going to pick at 4, and we've got Detroit. Sorry, I'm just writing this down so I can remember, since I can't actually visualize it. But we're going to have Detroit is jumping the gun, and they're going to go up to number 4, and Detroit is going to take, where is he? There he is. Detroit to Devonta Smith. I know it says Atlanta's got Devonta Smith, but we're just picture that this is Detroit there. So the Falcons are still on the board at 7. Okay, we've got the Bengals. The Bengals really need some offensive line help. I believe right tackle is like what they really need. They also need a receiver, and they need people for Joey Bosa to throw to. So I have a solution that can help both of those things. Kyle Pitts is sitting here on the board at number 6, like projected talent-wise. And Kyle Pitts provides a weapon for Joe Burrow to throw to. And he also provides extra protection on that offensive line if so needed. So I think the Bengals are going to pick up Kyle Pitts here, and they're going to help out both of those situations there. All right. Now, Philadelphia really needs a receiver. Obviously, you can see it there. Their tight end situation isn't the greatest. I think if Kyle Pitts was on the board, if Cincinnati hadn't taken him, then I think this would be a different story for sure. But I see Philadelphia going Jalen Waddle here. Jalen Waddle is he's an injury machine, kind of, I guess you could say, potentially. But he is very athletic, and if it wasn't for his injury, I would say that he actually would probably jump Devonta Smith in talent. But Devonta won the Heisman, so I don't know. It's just all kind of distorted. But I'm going to have Philly picking up Jalen Waddle. Okay, so here it is. This is actually the Atlanta pick, because remember we had said that Devonta Smith is going to the Lions. I just can't physically show you because of this. So that's our issue here. So pick number 7 is actually Atlanta. So with pick number 7, the Atlanta Falcons are very happy that they were able to trade back. Oh, and I forgot to say what they obtained from Detroit from that pick. Detroit gave up a 2023 first-round pick and a 2022 second-round pick. Those are the 2 picks that they gave up to move up those spots. And then obviously this 2021 pick number 7, round 1 that we're doing right now. So Atlanta receives that, and they are still happy that their guy is on the board still, and they are just going to pick him up, and that's going to be Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be the guy for Atlanta that's going to take over after Matt Ryan completes this last year that I believe he is going to do in Atlanta. I think what will happen is I think Atlanta will they'll start with Matt Ryan, maybe the first 5 or 6 weeks, and then they will put in Justin Fields, and they'll kind of slowly let him take over the team. And I think they'll try and keep Julio Jones And I think they're going to let Matt Ryan walk next year, but not this year. So I think that's what's going to happen in Atlanta. And again, I know it says that Detroit has Justin Fields, but it's actually Atlanta. So just imagine those are swapped. Sorry, I know it's confusing. All right, number 8. We've got the Carolina Panthers. So let me explain what I've got going on here. Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston very badly. So with that, we're just going to keep that in mind, and we're going to say that this is my prediction, is that Deshaun Watson will not be able to leave Houston before the draft or before the season starts. The idiots down in Texas, sorry, they are pretty stupid right now, but I don't mean that like in a really bad way. But anyways, the knuckleheads down in Houston firmly believe that Deshaun Watson will be their starting quarterback for 2021. Deshaun Watson firmly believes that he is not going to play another snap for Houston. We've seen things in the past. Everything always goes the player's way. Just look at Ezekiel Elliott. Look at some of these other guys that held out. What's going to happen is Houston is going to firmly believe that Deshaun Watson is going to be their guy. They're going to enter the draft without trading him, without building around a new quarterback, without drafting a new quarterback. And so what's going to happen is Deshaun Watson is going to hold out next season. And he's going to probably like week 4, 5, or 6, one of those weeks in there, he's finally going to get traded. And what's going to happen is Carolina is going to go all out. And Carolina is going to send Christian McCaffrey, a 2022 first overall pick, and a first overall pick all the way up to 2025. And then maybe a few conditional picks or a few like other players that aren't like necessarily starters but have potential to be a starter. So with that in mind, that's a big situation, but it plays into this pick. Carolina is okay with sticking with Teddy Bridgewater for the time being because they know what's going to happen, and they think they're going to get Deshaun and they're going to go all out. So they do not go quarterback here. Also, if they were going to go quarterback, I would have them trading back because this pick is pretty high for the next quarterback on the list. But what's going to happen is Carolina is going to prepare to get Deshaun Watson. And so they need to build a good offensive line, and they are going to get that with Penei Sewell. So I know that was a very long explanation, and I'm sorry, but it all factored into the Panthers selecting Penei Sewell there. All right, so number 9. This one is pretty simple. Denver is going to potentially try and make a run at Deshaun mid-season with what I just said. They're going to be in the running there with the 49ers and Carolina and maybe Miami. Those are the 4 teams that I think will make a run at him. But I think Denver has the least potential of getting him because what they could get was probably Von Miller. But I think Von Miller will not be on the Broncos anymore. I think he will have been either released or just anything else. So that's what I think is going to happen. And then, so what they're going to do is they're going to try and build up their defense. And that's going to happen because they think Patrick Surtain is going to be their guy. Patrick Surtain, he's not very fast, but he is able to, with his good technique, he is able to make up for his lack of speed. So he doesn't really get burnt on much routes. He's a good, solid corner, and he had production this year, and I think the Broncos are going to love to see what Surtain can bring to their team. Now, me being a Cowboys fan, this pick is great. and I'm so happy that the guy that I want is still on the board. So, Cowboys hopefully are smart. Jerry Jones is hopefully smart. I think they might look at Rashawn Slater if he's still on the board. I don't think they'll take him. I think they will definitely take Caleb Farley. Cornerback is the #1 need right now for Dallas. Assuming that Dak Prescott gets re-signed. If Dak Prescott does not get re-signed, then I believe that Dallas shouldn't even be at number 10. They should be trading up to get Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, one of those two guys. So if Dak Prescott does not re-sign, then Dallas should be trading up. If Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain are both off the board at number 10, I think you could look at the potential of trading back, maybe to San Francisco, maybe to New England at number 15. I think the potential to trade back here is possible, but if Caleb Farley is still sitting on the board, it is way too idiotic to not take him right there. I think he's only played corner for like 2 years, so he's not like super diverse. But in those 2 years, he's been pretty good at his position. Okay, so we've got New York here. New York. This one is a bit of a stretch for New York, I believe. I'm gonna see where they have him, honestly. Okay, he's all the way down at 29. I think what's going to happen is New York wants a receiver pretty bad. They need a receiver, but they're not going to be able to get one. But New York really needs an edge pass rusher, and I think they're going to get that with Gregory Rousseau. I'm not sure why he's ranked 29, but I think that's who they're going to go with. There's a potential for Jalen Phillips, but I think he might fall a little bit. And other than that, I think Gregory Rousseau is the #1 edge rusher in the draft currently. All right, number 12. I believe that the 49ers, I said earlier, I think they'll make a run at Deshaun Watson. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo is probably not going to be the quarterback. So I'm not sure what they're going to do in the offseason. But right now, I just have the 49ers taking Rashawn Slater. I think they need to build up that offensive line because they've got guys that are getting up there in age, and they've got guys that are, I believe Trent Williams is a free agent, and I don't know if he'll be back. So I think 49ers need to build up that O-line, and I think they'll do that by getting, in my opinion, the best offensive lineman in the draft with Rashawn Slater. It's kind of nice that he fell all the way to 12. But with that, we've got, we have, why can't I think of, I want to say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, sorry. I wanted to say San Diego there for a second. We've got the Chargers, and with them, I see them taking Elijah Vera-Tucker. I think he is a good lineman. I think he will help provide Justin Herbert with that extra protection that he needs when he's passing the ball, so he's not scrambling for his life. And I think with some offensive help, Justin Herbert and the Chargers will be a playoff team and a pretty big threat this next season. But I think Elijah Vera-Tucker is a good pick there for the Chargers. Moving on to the Vikings, I'm trying to think. I had them picking someone, and I'm just trying to think who it was. Okay, yeah, I remember who it was. Okay, so the Chargers need defensive line. They need. They had. Sorry, let me restart that. They had Yannick Ngakoue at the beginning of the season, and obviously that didn't last very long. So they they need to fill up that defensive lineman spot. And I don't think they go edge. I think they're going to go defensive tackle. One thing I saw when I was researching all this that I found interesting was, even though Yannick Ngakoue was traded before the trade deadline, he still led the team in sacks at the end of the season. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know. But there it is. So we're going to have the Vikings. They're going to be taking Kwity Paye. I think he is the best defensive tackle in the draft. I guess they have him at an edge, but I think he's more of a defensive tackle. And I guess he could play edge as well, but I think they'll go Kwity Paye. So New England here. This is going to be another situation where I can't use the trade thing, but I actually see New England trading back. I think they are going to trade back 4 spots with Washington. And the reason I say this is because I think the Patriots have their eye on one guy, and I think they are the only people that have enough faith in that guy to draft him as high as 19 overall. But they are going to trade back with Washington. Washington's going to give up, obviously, pick 19, and as well as next year's first and a 2023 second, I believe is what I had them. Yep, that's what I had them trading up. So with that in mind, even though I can't physically show it on screen, pick number 15 now belongs to Washington. So we are picking for Washington right now. It was just announced today that they plan on releasing Alex Smith. So what my original thing was they were going to trade Alex Smith to the Patriots, but now that he's going to be released, they can't trade him. So that's a whole big thing. But so they need a replacement because Dwayne Haskins wasn't the answer, and obviously Alex Smith is gone, and I don't think they have enough faith in some of these other guys to take over at the quarterback position. So I think they're going to go with Trey Lance, and that is for Washington. Washington is taking Trey Lance. Okay, number 16, I've had this one in my head for the longest time. It's pretty self-explanatory. The Cardinals, actually about an hour ago, it came out that J.J. Watt signed with them. And I think it was, like a 2-year deal or something. But they already have a pretty decent offense, but they're trying to build up that defense. And I think doing that, they're going to pick up J.C. Horn. He's a pretty good corner. He doesn't really get burnt that much. He doesn't really give up a whole lot. He's definitely worth 16th overall. In fact, if Caleb Farley was off the board at 10 and Patrick Surtain was off the board at 10, I could actually see them, Cowboys, trading back a little bit and picking up J.C. Horn still. But the reason I don't have the Cowboys picking J.C. Horn is because I do firmly believe that Caleb Farley is a little bit better than J.C. Horn, but J.C. Horn is still a really good corner, and the Cardinals are really lucky to be able to snag him up at 16 with a new defensive end in J.J. Watt and a pickup here at corner. I could see J.C. Horn being a number 2 or number 3 guy. Patrick Peterson is going and leaving in free agency, so they need a replacement for him, and I think Arizona will do that by picking up J.C. Horn. So, number 17, we have the Raiders. So, let's see if I can even find him, honestly. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find him. Oh, he's right in front of me. Okay. It came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago that 15 teams were going to pass on this guy, upwards of 15, and that no one ever really figured out which teams said that. But with the off-the-field issues and just some things that have been surfacing recently, I think Micah Parsons falls this low. But the Raiders, with their history of drafting people with rough backgrounds and just their need at this position, I think the Raiders are going to go ahead and pick up Micah Parsons. And so my explanation for that is basically just they think he's fills a good need. He's probably one of the best talented, wise players left on the board. Um, and I guess he could probably potentially become the next Khalil Mack for the Raiders after they traded him to the Bears. So I think if Micah Parsons can fix his off the field issues, then he could be a really stud player and a steal at number 17. But I think I see him falling all the way down to the Raiders. Number 18, we've got the Miami Dolphins again. This is their actual pick. Like I said, I believe this one was from the Texans. That Kenny Stills trade, and there was someone else in that trade, but I forget who it was. But I see them going Najee Harris here. Najee Harris is a really good running back. He's going to help Tua. He's going to take the burden off Tua. Miami didn't really have a number one running back last season. They kind of split the snaps for all their running backs, and none of them really took a big stride to become that number one back. So Najee Harris, really good pickup. He's really quickly rising on people's draft boards, and I think he's going to fit perfectly into that Miami offense with the new Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and Mike Gesicki. I think that offense is starting to look really good. All right, so at number 19, it says Washington, but remember down here, this is technically Washington, and this is technically New England. I just can't show it because of this trade thing. And I know I'm getting repetitive, but so we're picking for New England right now. With that in mind, New England has their mind on one guy and one guy only in the first round, and they are so excited that they were able to trade back and able to get their guy still. So that being said, Tom Brady obviously won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, and Tom Brady basically said to a 7-9 team or whatever the Buccaneers were last year, he said, "You guys want to go win a Super Bowl? Okay, let's sign there," and he did it, proving his GOAT-ness, greatest of all time, and that made Bill Belichick really mad, and now his one and only goal is to find that guy at quarterback. And I think Bill Belichick has some really high standards in Mac Jones. I think he's really, really catching the eye of Bill Belichick, and I could even see them taking him at 15 without the trade back, but I think the smarter move would be to do that, in my opinion. But you have to take the gamble of Mac Jones getting taken somewhere else. But really, all these four teams in between here don't really need a quarterback. The Dolphins maybe have the most need at quarterback, but I don't see them taking him. I think they're going to stick with Tua for now. All right, next we have Chicago. Chicago has a need at quarterback. I think they're going to stick with Trubisky. I don't think anything's going to happen there. I could potentially see Jimmy Garoppolo signing there, potentially. But right now, I don't think so. They have a big need at receiver, and I'm just going to say this right now. I think that's what they're gonna fill, is that need at receiver. Now, Allen Robinson is leaving in free agency. I actually think he will sign with the Jets personally, because I don't think he'll go back to Jacksonville. I think he will sign with the Jets. But they're going to need to replace him, because other than Allen Robinson, I mean, who do they really have? They don't really have anybody. So I think they have high prospects on Kadarius Toney. I think that's who they're going to draft there at wide receiver at number 20. There's not a whole lot to say about that pick. It's just it is what it is. I haven't watched a whole lot of tape on Kadarius either, so I can't really say much about him, but I think Chicago is just filling a pretty big need there at wide receiver, and I could actually see them going receiver in the second round, which is actually coming up here pretty soon there. Okay, Indianapolis. This one is well, let's just say this. Carson Wentz is probably good enough to fill in at quarterback to potentially just take them to the playoffs. I don't think he'll take them to a Super Bowl, but he'll probably take them to the playoffs. So you need to be able to, what do I want to say here? You need to be able to build that offense around him. And T.Y. Hilton is leaving in free agency, and I don't see him signing back with the Colts. And so with that in mind, I actually have them picking up a receiver as well, and that receiver is going to be right there at Rashad Bateman. Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure. Rashad Bateman is going to be the pick there for Indianapolis. All right. Number 22, we've got the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans really need an edge rush, and I actually have a few people that I know that are Titans fans, and all they want is an edge rusher, just like me as a Cowboys fan. All I want is a cornerback. So I actually have Tennessee taking apparently the higher-rated edge rusher over Gregory Rousseau in Jalen Phillips out of Miami. I want to say, yeah, Miami has both Gregory Rousseau and Phillips, and you talk to different people. Different people have different grades on each guy, but I think a lot of Titans fans would be just thrilled to have either guy. I think a lot of them are leaning more towards Jalen Phillips, but I think it's nice that Tennessee was able to pick up a good edge rusher here at 22, and they're filling a huge need that they're going to need, especially with the departure of Jadeveon Clowney. Although I guess he could be considered a linebacker as well. But okay, we've got New York here. New York has some pretty big needs. I said earlier that I think Allen Robinson is going to sign with New York, so I think that crosses off receiver as one of the top needs. It still leaves a really big need, though, at running back position. The running back position, they have Frank Gore. I'm not sure if he's going to retire yet or not. Even if he does, I don't even know if the Jets keep him on their roster. So I think Travis Etienne is falling on boards, but he's still potentially a late first-round talent, and I think he is a good, he provides some elusiveness and some speed here at receiving position. So I think that's what they're going to do, and yeah, I there's not a whole lot to say about it, but I think Zach Wilson and Travis Etienne, Allen Robinson, all three of those offensive pickup guys are going to be a great addition and maybe give them an additional 5 or 6 wins this upcoming season. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is an interesting situation. They really need some more linemen, so I really don't have a whole lot to say about that. And I think that Samuel Cosmi is a really good pickup there for Steelers there at number 24 out of Texas. He's, in my opinion, the talent at lineman, offensive lineman goes Slater, Sewell, and Cosmi. I think those are the 3 top linemen right there. I think I actually, didn't we have someone else going? Yeah, Elijah Vera-Tucker went above him. But I think Samuel Cosmi is probably the 3rd best in position. But with that, there's not a whole lot to say other than, I mean, Big Ben is getting up there in age. It's even rumored whether he will even stay with Pittsburgh or if he's going to take a pay cut or what. But I think they also have really high hopes for Dwayne Haskins as his replacement. So I think they just need to build up and maintain that offensive line. And I think Samuel Cosmi is going to be a good replacement for like maybe Villanueva or one of those guys that's going to be retiring here soon. Jacksonville, obviously they got Trevor Lawrence. They got I think I said it a second ago with Rashad Bateman. I think that T.Y. Hilton is going to end up signing there in Jacksonville. Um, that's where I think he will wind up. So I don't think they have a huge need at receiver, but they still have a pretty big need at tight end. They have Tyler Eifert, who's a good receiver, or good receiving tight end, but he really he he kind of lacks the. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. He's an injury machine, basically, is what I want to say. Like, when is he not injured? So they need another tight end. I could see them going tackle there with Christian Darrisaw, but I actually see them going with Pat Freiermuth. Actually, no, sorry. No, that is not who I have. Sorry, I was thinking of a different team. Or a different pick. I thought we were on 33 here for a second. No, I am going to have them take Christian Darrisaw. I think he's a good lineman. Probably number 4 or 5 rated in the draft. But I think he's a good pickup. Help protect Trevor Lawrence. And yeah. Now we've got the Browns. I had them rumored to be taking J.J. Watt, but that ended up not happening. So here we are. But I still have them taking the guy that I think they're going to take here. They need an edge, and they need an inside defensive lineman. And Myles Garrett is really taking the bulk of everything right now. Olivier Vernon has kind of been a disappointment ever since he came to Cleveland, and I could see them either releasing him, or I kind of think he's a free agent, but I kind of forget, to be honest. But so I have them taking Christian Barmore here, inside defensive lineman. I think he will provide that 1-2 punch with Myles Garrett and line them up together. And, I mean, the offensive line is going to have to figure out what they're going to do. They can't double team both of them, so they're just going to have to figure out what to do. I think Christian Barmore is a good run stopper and occasionally can provide that pass rush that you're looking for. All right. Baltimore. Let me think here for a second. Baltimore, who do I have them taking? Let me look. Maybe if I see the name, it'll... Okay. Yeah, I remember who it is. So Baltimore, let's be honest. Baltimore has no number one receiver. Like Marquise Brown is not a number one receiver. Dez Bryant recently came out and said he's leaving Baltimore. He wasn't a number one receiver there. I think he has the capability of being a number one receiver there still, or like number one receiver still, but he's not the number one receiver for Baltimore. So I need to see more from Lamar Jackson throwing than running. And I actually have them taking a receiver, and I guess he's ranked at number 50 overall for some reason, but Rondale Moore is who I have going to Baltimore. I think he is a pretty good receiver. I've watched some tape on him. I haven't honestly watched a whole lot of tape on Terrace Marshall, but I think Rondale Moore actually sneaks into the first round there to Baltimore, and they fix a little bit of a need at receiver. Not a huge need, but I see them taking receiver there. Okay, now we move to 28, the Saints, who probably have the worst situation besides the Texans in the league. So New Orleans has like negative cap space or something like that. I forget what it is. But they probably aren't going to get Drew Brees back. So that leaves Jameis Winston at quarterback. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. And it's just not a great situation there for New Orleans. But there is like a bunch of needs that they're going to be having. Michael Thomas is going to be leaving. I don't know. Drew Brees is probably leaving, so there's not a whole bright future for the Saints right now. I think it's going to actually go downhill. But they do need a little bit at linebacker, so I have them taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I don't know if I said that name right, but I have them taking him out of Notre Dame. I think he's a good pick at 28. He fell off the board of talent, or whatever you want to call it, quite a bit, and then we have Green Bay. Green Bay is another one of those teams that I think is slowly dwindling with their, if you want to call it a dynasty. I don't really think that they're going to be as great as they were this past year, next year. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. But I was trying to think who I had them taking. I thought I had them taking a receiver, but apparently he's way down here on the board, so we're not going to go with that pick that I had him taking originally. And instead, we're going to go with Terrace Marshall Jr. at LSU. I think he's going to help take the burden off of Davante Adams. He'll be a nice guy that they can match up with Lazard and Adams together. And I could also see them potentially going tight end, but for right now, I think Terrace Marshall is a pretty good pickup. And with that, we've got Buffalo, and Buffalo has some big needs here as well. I think they're going to fill their biggest need, or I guess maybe second biggest need. Their biggest need is probably running back, but I think they're going to fill their second biggest need here at linebacker, and they're going to pick up Nick Bolton out of Missouri. He's a good linebacker, and he provides some good run stopping abilities and some good tackling. So that's who I have them picking up. With the 31st overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs, who I actually predicted losing the Super Bowl. Thank you very much to some people. They are picking here, and obviously we saw what their need is in the Super Bowl. I mean, they were on backups, but obviously those backups were not proving worthy enough, so they are going to pick up Tevon Jenkins, and he could either be a starter or a backup depending on how he performs, but you get to some of these later picks in the first round, and it's some of these guys that you could see falling into the second round, and some people sneak up into the first round, and Tevon Jenkins is one of those guys that I could either see going in the second round, but I actually have him going in the first round. And then finally, we've got Buccaneers. And honestly, I'm going to say this right now. I think the Buccaneers have an interesting situation going on. I don't know if they will repeat or not, but I do have them making the playoffs again. And it's one of those things where they've got Lavonte David, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, all these guys that are needing brought back. And I think Rob Gronkowski would be willing to take a discount to play with Tom again. So I don't think I don't think Gronk is going anywhere. Chris Godwin, I could see leaving. And Lavonte David, I'm not sure. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are going to fill one of their bigger needs that they have right now. And that's going to be Azeez Ujulari, and I don't think I said that name right either, but I think that's who they're going to pick up here. And yeah, I just see them taking an edge there. So I've done a lot of explaining for most of my picks so far, but now I think I'm just going to kind of try and go through a little bit faster. So with 33 here, I actually have the Jaguars taking who I thought, this was a pick I thought they were on earlier. I have them taking Pat Freiermuth at tight end. I think tight end's a big need, and I explained it a little bit earlier. New York Jets, they have what did I say? They got NTN, Wilson, and Robinson. But they still have a little bit of a need. And I think potentially they're going to try and fill that need here with a corner, and it's going to be Greg Newsome the second. And then we have Atlanta. And by the way, I had trades in the first round. I think, 2 or 3 in total. I'm not doing trades in the second round because this is actually the first time I've looked at the second round. I've only done first rounds up to now, but we have Atlanta, and they've got some needs and whatnot, but I actually have them taking a safety, Richie Grant. I think he's a pretty good safety, and they'd be lucky to have him there at 35. Okay, Miami, we had them taking Chase and Najee Harris. They still need linebackers, they still need linemen, but I actually have them taking, let me think here for a second. Let me look at, okay, sorry. I have them taking Jalen Mayfield. Sorry, I thought for a second I had them taking someone else, but no, I have them taking Jalen Mayfield because I think the Dolphins' O-line was pretty solid last year, but it could use some improvements, and I think Jalen Mayfield is a pretty good pickup there for Miami. Okay, now we got Philly. They had Waddle, and I think they're going to be pretty set with quarterback for now. For this year, I think Jalen Hurts is going to be a pretty decent corner for now, or quarterback for now. Philly has a really bad situation as well, but I think honestly, their biggest need that they're going to fill right now is actually offensive tackle, and I have Alex Leatherwood being that guy out of Alabama, and they're going to pick him up. And then the Bengals, we had them taking Kyle Pitts. Ow, that kind of hurt. I don't know if you heard it. I just shoved my elbow on the desk, but sorry, I got distracted there. The Bengals have some big needs. They have it at receiver. They have it at offensive tackle. But I actually have them taking, in my opinion, the best remaining lineman available at Wyatt Davis. He's out of Ohio State, so he's going to be staying in Ohio. And it kind of, he's one of those guys that I could see him being moved to either right or left guard. It doesn't really matter, or even maybe center. But and here we've got Carolina again. They have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, and other than that, their receiving core isn't the greatest. But I think they took Penei Sewell in the first round, and they got what was his name from last season? Jeremy Chin, the safety. So they're set at those two positions for now. I think personally, I think they're going to go with Zaven Collins here. I think he's a pretty good linebacker. He's still remaining on the board, and I see the Panthers picking him up. Denver, we had them taking Surtain in the first round. I don't think Drew Lock is really the answer for them. So I actually have them taking, let's see where he's at. Oh, wow, he's way down here. Holy crap. Oh, my goodness. He's all the way down at 110. Okay. Well, let me think about that for a second. Maybe not. I was going to have them taking Kyle Trask, but I think he's way too high at 40 there to take him, so maybe they wait until the 3rd round to take him. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The other thing is they are needing a linebacker / edge rusher now, because Von Miller is probably going to leave, and so I have them taking Joseph Osai instead of Kyle Trask. That was a little awkward just a second ago, but oh well. So we had the Lions taking a receiver. And they took a corner in the 1st round last year, but they have some other needs at some other positions. I think they got Desmond Trufant a few years, or last year, I guess. Yeah, it was last year. But they're Lions are one of those teams I don't know a whole lot about, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that they need an offensive tackle, and I'm gonna go with Liam Eckenberg. Or wait, not offensive tackle. Sorry, offensive guard, and I'm gonna go with Creed Humphrey. Sorry, 2 different things. New York Giants. We had them taking an edge rusher. They still need a receiver pretty badly, and they didn't really fill that need, and so I've got them taking Elijah Moore here. San Francisco 49ers, we had them taking Slater, obviously, and I'm trying to think. They got rid of DeForest Buckner, and they have some other needs, so we're going to see what they could potentially fill. I think Richard Sherman is gone, so I'm going to actually have them take Asante Samuel Jr. Now we got Dallas here. Dallas is one of those situations where their secondary is just straight up awful, and I'm honestly... I wouldn't be mad with either Javon Holland or Trevon Murig, but I actually have Cowboys taking Trevon Murig here at safety. Jacksonville, they have now they filled need at quarterback with Lawrence, tackle with that guy that it was the first guy that we drafted, tight end, and I thought we said some. They kind of filled the need with what I had predicted with T.Y. Hilton. So I don't think they're going to go running back. I could see them potentially going running back, but I don't think they will, because they have that kid that I don't even remember his name, some Robinson. But they need some players on defense, and I think, in my opinion, Levi Onwuzurike, I don't think I said that right. He's a really, really good athlete out of Washington, and I think if the Jaguars picked him up here at 45, then their draft so far is looking like completely solid. Like they've probably got the best draft out of all these teams so far. New England, they got Mac Jones in their quarterback. I think they're set at the quarterback position. Now they just need some weapons for Mac Jones, and I think they might make a little bit of a reach here with this receiver, and I actually have them taking Shatarius Atwell out of Louisville. He's not necessarily a number 1 receiver, but the Patriots don't really have a number 1 receiver right now. So I don't know. You could say different things about different guys, but I think Patriots would be smart to take a receiver there. All right, it's not San Diego. Goodness gracious, that's the 2nd time I've done this. Los Angeles Chargers. They took inside offensive lineman earlier. They have some other needs. I think probably their biggest need right now is probably Eric Stokes. So we're going to have them taking Eric Stokes there. And then we have the Raiders. And the Raiders, they took Micah Parsons, and so they have some needs at line, the offensive line. But they also have needs at edge, and I think we said no, sorry. So we're gonna look here for a second. I'm not gonna pick anything quite yet. Well, there's Trace Smith. Alright. We're gonna go Trace Smith out of Tennessee. The Cardinals, they picked up an edge in J.J. Watt. They really need a running back, so we're gonna have them take Javonte Williams. And then Miami is back on the board with their actual pick, and they have really kind of filled their needs so far. They still need some other guys, and they've got a need at inside offensive line, linebacker, but I actually see them going receiver again. Wait a minute, let me think here for a second. Who did I have them take? Jalen Mayfield. No, sorry, not him. Baron Browning. Was it him or no? It was Dylan Moses. Sorry, Dylan Moses. Yeah, I know. I'm just my brain is rambling with thoughts right now. But Washington, they ended up taking Trey Lance in the first round, and they've got Terry McLaurin, and they've got some other guys. So I think the Washington team is going to they need someone they can match up with Terry McLaurin and be somewhat of a threat alongside him. So I actually have them taking Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC. I think he's a pretty good second-round pickup for a team, and he's not too high up in the second round that I think it's pretty worth it. The Bears, they took a receiver, and I said I think I could see Jimmy G signing there. Otherwise, I think Trubisky is their guy. But right now, I think they need to address line, and they go that way with Dylan Raduns. Don't think I said that last name right, but oh well. Titans, they have some different needs, mainly on defense. I actually see them going corner here with Aaron Robinson, cornerback. And then we've got Indianapolis, and Indianapolis, they filled a need at receiver. They still have some other needs, not really on the line at all, but there's some other needs. So we've got Indianapolis here. Excuse me. I think their line is pretty set, and I think their receiving position is pretty set. But I actually have them taking Javon Holland. He's, a safety out of Oregon. He's a pretty good safety. Have him ranked pretty close to Trevon Murig, but not quite there. The Steelers here, they've got some pretty big needs. I think they're going to fill the needs on offense again, and that need is at receiver, and I think they're going to go Nico Collins. All right, Seattle. This is the first Seattle pick so far. They have some big needs. They have some interesting things going on up there with Russell Wilson, whether he's going to be the quarterback or not. They've got some pretty big needs. I don't think Seahawks. I don't know. I think it's going to be bad for them, but I actually have them taking Landon Dickerson. He's an inside offensive lineman out of Alabama. Not as highly graded for me as they have him on here. But that I mean, I don't know. It would be a good pickup for them to get just any offensive lineman that's better than what they have. So that's who I have them picking up. And then we've got the Rams. The Rams, this is, I believe, their first pick as well. They now have Matthew Stafford and some pretty good receivers. Their defense is pretty good, but they probably need the most. They need a tackle, so we're going to go Liam Eckenberg there. And let's see, we've got the Ravens here. Ravens, like I said, they need edge, they need tight end, they need several different things, but I have them going Jason Owe here. Browns, we had them taking inside defensive linemen. They need a receiver, they need some different guys, but I do have them going. Sorry, I was thinking of a different team. I was going to say, where did Wyatt Davis go? But because I thought we had him going to Cleveland, but it was Cincinnati that we had him going to. Sorry, I just that distracted me. Sorry. No, the Browns are going to go ahead and get Baron Browning. He's a linebacker out of Ohio State, and he's pretty good. I watched him quite a bit this year, and I pretty much I liked what I saw from him. The Saints, they took a linebacker in the first round, and they're going to need a corner as well. I actually have them going Calvin Johnson out of Kentucky. I think Calvin Johnson's a pretty good pickup there at corner. And we've only got a few more picks here. And pick 61, we've got the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills filled a need at linebacker, but they still have some other needs as well, including running back. And so I'm going to actually have them taking Michael Carter out of North Carolina. And then we've got the Packers. Packers have some big needs. We had them filling receiver, but I think they're going to take Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. Okay, and then we've got two more picks, it looks like. So we've got the Chiefs here. The real question is, who are the two people that are going to sneak through the second round? The Chiefs, they took an offensive tackle. They have a pretty good, solid team. I really don't think, as bad as the draft can be, I don't think the Chiefs should be like super upset with what they get, even if it's a really bad draft for them. But I do have them taking Davian Nixon, inside defensive lineman. I think the Chiefs, their biggest need, though I just said they didn't have many, if they did have a big need, it would be the defensive line probably, and then maybe the secondary as well. Not necessarily safety. I think they're pretty set at safety, but the final pick in the second round and the final pick for today is the Buccaneers. So I had them taking an edge rusher. And I think really, I think the Buccaneers are kind of in a similar situation as the Chiefs. I think really whoever they get, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But I really can't think of a whole lot of needs for the Buccaneers, so we're just going to go ahead and see and look at who we've got here. They do need an inside offensive lineman, so why don't we give them... Let's go ahead and give them the next best inside offensive lineman with... where did he just go? Where did he go? Is he not? Like right there? Oh, there he is. Josh Myers. So, we'll go ahead and just kind of slowly roll through here. First 5 picks, we've got Lawrence, Wilson, Chase, Smith, Pitts, And then Waddle, Fields, Sewell, Surtain, Farley, Rasu, Slater, Tucker, Veer Tucker, Pay, and Lance. Remember, this one was to the Washington football team, and vice versa. And then as well as this one was technically Atlanta, and this one was technically Detroit. But we've got, I said that one, we've got Horn, Parsons, Harris, Jones, Tony, and then Bateman, Phillips, Etienne, Cosme, Darisol, Barmore, Moore, Owusu Koromoa, Marshall Jr., Nick Bolton, Jenkins, and Ojulari. And then we've got Freiermuth. Probably a little bit of a stretch there, but it's a big need for them, and so they pick him up. Newsome, Grant, Mayfield, Leatherwood, Davis, Collins, Osei, Humphrey, Moore, Samuel Jr., Murig, I don't know how to say that last name, Atwell, Stokes, Smith, Williams, Moses, St. Brown, Rudence, Robinson, Holland, Collins, Dickerson, Eichenberg, Owe, Browning, Joseph, Carter, Campbell, Nixon, and Myers. So that is my first 2 round picks. Probably doing more of these. One definitely a lot closer to the draft after what we see goes down with all the quarterback carousels and all the free agents. So I'll definitely be doing another one of those. But for now, I think that's going to be it. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And other than that, until next time, peace.